Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram
Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Nam Nam Nam
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare Ram Nam 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Nam 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Nam Nam
Hare
Nam
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram Nam 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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram Nam 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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Hare Ram
Krishna Hare
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Ram
Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Hare 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 Ram Nam Nam
Hare
Nam
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare
Ram
Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Nam
Ram
Nam
Ram
Nam
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare Ram
Hare
Nam
Hare
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Nam 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Ram
Hare Ram
Ram
Nam Nam Nam
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna 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 Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Hare
Nam
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Nam 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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Hare
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Hare
Nam
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Ram
Ram
Nam 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Vancha
Hare Hare
kalpatarubhya cha kripa
Hare Ram
sindhuveva cha
Nam Nam
patita
Nam
nam
Hare
pavanebhyo
Hare Krishna Hare
vaishnavyo
Krishna
namo
Krishna
namah.
Krishna Hare
Malanta
Hare
Vaishnavendi ki jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Good morning, dear devotees. This is Shivani from Western Virginia. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Please forgive me your beautiful chanting. Let us move to our next part of session, which is Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda, chapter 13, verses 10 to 18. May I ask who all have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Milta Gandharvika Devadasi from Texas. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your service. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Garvandika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for your wonderful and beautiful association today. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasini Devidasi from Atlanta. Thank you, Mataji, for your warm introduction, and thanks to all the devotees for the very beautiful chanting.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vinasli Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving a wonderful and beautiful association every day. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashwamati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining today and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, so glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Caitanya Sundari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. I hope you're feeling better, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves? Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you all once again to Bhakti Sangha Chapter conference call for this mid-morning session. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. If you put butter before the fire, automatically it melts. Similarly, a woman is considered as butter. So this is natural, but a person who is not ignited, he is called Dheirya. Malani, October 12, 1972. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on Adi Khanda, chapter 13, verses 10 to 18. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time and wonderful association this morning. We all are looking to hearing from you very eagerly. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Please take over call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. Thank you so much for warmly welcoming everybody. And thank you everyone for joining us in this mid-morning session of understanding, reading, studying Sri Caitanya Bhagavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. So let's start with the invocation prayers and then we'll move forward. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhaivacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Anandalila Vigrahaya Hema Divya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahakrishna Prema Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste, Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste, Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Ajanulambita bhujau kanukavadhatau Sankirtanaiko pitarau kamalayatakshav Vishwambharau dvijavarau Shri Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirti Stasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityastasya Vishveshwamurter Jayati Jayati Nityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam Mugam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripahatam Ham Vande Shri Guru Deenatarinam Harmananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are in the section of Caitanya Bhagavat. But before we start, I would like to seek blessings, wishes, and prayers from each and every one of you present on this call today, so that I can speak something relevant to the subject matter and also imbibe the same subject matter in my day-to-day life. So please bless me so that, my words are always true to the explanation of Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and to Srila Prabhupada. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaivacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrindi ki jai, all the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai. I'm having a little bit of cough and cold, so please excuse me for that. So we are in the section of Caitanya Bhagavat in chapter, we are still on Adi Khanda, but today we will be doing chapter 13. So yesterday, actually, we started this chapter 13, which is entitled Defeating Digvijay, right? So who is this Digvijay and who defeats, of course, our dear Nimai? But we have yet not started that section. We are still on the prelude to this context of defeating Digvijay. Hopefully, we'll start the pastime tomorrow. So still we are in the prelude of that chapter where Vrindavan Das Thakur is describing that how Nimai, he was defeating everybody, all the learned scholars, and those learned scholars who have mastered themselves into various scriptures, so-called learned scholars. And they were Bhattacharis, they were Mishras, they were Acharyas, and practically they were the teachers. They have no other occupation except teaching. So they were the teachers, and Mahaprabhu would defeat them in all the debates. They will have a debate and Mahaprabhu would defeat them. So they were very, very learned, but they were constantly being rebuked by the Supreme Lord, either directly or indirectly. And therefore, they were into such a condition that they were not able to counter Lord's challenges. So their scholarships was, their so-called scholarship, they were scholars. So it was not down to an extent where they could defeat Nimai to any extent. They were not able to counter the Lord's challenges. So let's start now where we left yesterday. I'll share my screen so that you all can have a look on the verses. Yes. So we are here in the 8th verse that we read yesterday. The Lord constantly rebuked these scholars who had to directly or indirectly hear the taunts by Mahaprabhu. And nevertheless, not one of them was able to counter the Lord's challenges. So we'll do text number 10. The verses are very simple. They don't have any purports to it. So whatever Mahaprabhu inspires, whatever Krishna inspires, I'll try to speak something that I have learned in my few years of Krishna consciousness from my senior devotees from our Guru Vargas. Text 10. हेना से साधव सजन में प्रभुर देखिया सबैया ये न एकाधिके नाम रहाइया. Translation by the most revered spiritual master of our dear founder Acharya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and whose spiritual master is His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Swami Srila Prabhupada. They were so frightened on seeing the Lord that they would humbly try to avoid him. So these so-called Bhattacharis, the scholars, they were very frightened on seeing the Lord, seeing who? Nimai, that they would humbly try to avoid him. Because in the previous verses, we saw that nobody was able to counter the Lord's challenges, right? They were defeated by Nimai in the debates, in the scriptural debates that they would have on the banks of river Ganga, where Mahaprabhu will take few of his students and will teach. So there, these people, these so-called scholars will come. And when they'll see that Nimai is teaching to his students, they'll just try to avoid Nimai. They'll not try to face Nimai. Why? Because they were so frightened. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes in the purport that the word sadhavasa means awe and reverence, panic, fear, or suspicion. So they were so frightened. Now this is awe and reverence out of fear, that after seeing the Lord near the banks of river Ganges, teaching few of his students, they would not come across, they will not come face to face. And just from a distance, when they'll see the Lord, they'll make their own way and they'll try to avoid his association. They will try to avoid Nimai Pandit. Now, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes that the word sadhavasa means awe and reverence. But we see that this awe and reverence can be of two kinds, right? This awe and reverence can be out of fear. Like we know so many pastimes where so many kings, they bow down to Durvasa Rishi with awe and reverence, right? But there is a tinge of a fear factor. What fear factor? That if they don't treat Durvasa Muni, then because Durvasa Muni is so short-tempered, that immediately they'll be cursed, right? Durvasa Muni can curse them. So they were bowing down to Durvasa Muni with awe and reverence, with full respect. But there is a tinge of fear in it, right? So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is also explaining that those so-called scholars would just humbly, take their own way. They'll avoid the company of Nimai. Now this is due to the awe and reverence, but awe and reverence out of fear. Fear of what? Leaving their own pratishtha, their own prestige. Why? Because when they'll come in front of Nimai, Nimai will question them, the debate will happen, and he'll challenge them, and they'll not be able to counter the challenge of Nimai. So the so-called, the pratishtha, that so-called the level of pratishtha that they have in their heart would be smashed by Nimai. So they'll not come in front of Nimai. This is one kind of awe and reverence one can have for the spiritual superiors, out of fear. But that's not the way to love the Supreme Lord. We also bow down to the Supreme Lord in awe and reverence, but that is anointed with love. That is touched with love. When our spiritual master come, when we come in face to face with our spiritual master, The first thing is just bow down, prostrate obeisances. That's what we do. As soon as we see, even if he is from a far distance, but as soon as we see our spiritual master, we just bow down. That's the Vaishnava etiquette. Whether the spiritual master is seeing us or not, irrespective of that, we just bow down. Now, this bowing down is also an act of awe and reverence, right? But that awe and reverence is not out of fear. Spiritual master is not even seeing us. He doesn't know whether we have bowed down or not, right? If I see as, of course, spiritual master, he is Sakshat Hari. He knows what is there in the heart of every disciple. But if we see otherwise, then spiritual master, suppose if he's talking to somebody, we are at his back. But as soon as we see him, we just immediately bow down. The spiritual master that time may not have a notice that we are standing behind because he is busy talking to someone else. And we are bowing down because of awe and reverence, but that awe and reverence is anointed with love. We are bowing down because we love him. We respect him. It's not out of fear that, if my spiritual master comes to know that I have not bowed down, then maybe he may rebuke me because I have not followed our Vaishnava etiquettes. Even if we come face to face, the spiritual master doesn't demand that you should bow down. That's the position of a spiritual master. He doesn't demand anything. But out of our love, we just bow down. So similarly, for God also, there is always a saying that we should worship the Supreme Lord. But is that worship out of fear or out of love? We should think, people say normally that if you displease God, the God will punish you. Hey, our God is not a bully. He is not a person who is always with a stick in his hand and saying, okay, you committed one mistake and here it is. No, it's not. Yes, our Supreme Lord is everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is full of knowledge, he is full of bliss, he is eternal. He is the origin of all. He is everything. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Ritishti Arjuna Tishtiti. He is sitting in the heart of every living entity. But still we have that loving connection with the spiritual, with the Supreme Lord. Right? So we should not be God-fearing, rather we should be God-loving. And that's how our mood should be. Just example is being given that how a cat carries a kitten. So when the cat carries a kitten, she uses her jaws. But the kitten is very safe because the kitten has full faith that my mother is carrying me from one place to another and I'm in my safe hands in the jaws of my mother. The same cat, when carries a rat, there is a fear of death. Because the rat knows that now I'm in the jaws of the cat, so definitely my death is certain. The criminals are fearful of the police, but those citizens who are law-abiding are not fearful of a police. Why? Because they are law-abiding citizens. Similarly, we should not be God-fearing, rather we should be God-loving. And when that awe and reverence is there, because that respect should be there, right? That respect should be there. If we lose the respect with our spiritual master, suppose if spiritual master is there, and we lose the respect for him, then it is ati parichat avagya. Familiarity breeds contempt, we all know. There will be a definite fall down. So that awe and reverence should be there, but it should be out of love, out of respect, not out of fear. Similarly, with the Supreme Lord, the relationship should be based on awe and reverence. but it should be loving relationship, not awe and reverence on the mood of fear. It should be a loving reciprocation with the Supreme Lord. In Damodar Ashtakam, this Kartik month is also going on. And Satyavati Muni very beautiful writes, Iti drik swalila bhiranand kunde swagosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam tadiyeshi bhaktirjitatvam premata punha prematastam sadhavriti vande. So what he is writing, that's the Supreme Lord in Vraj, in Vrindavan. He is drowning everybody, all the inhabitants of Gokula. He is drowning them in the pool of ecstasy. Why? Because they all are sharing that loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. And to them, the Supreme Lord is teaching that I am not conquered with that awe and reverence which is full of fear. Awe and reverence depicted by the yogis, by the jnanis. But I am freely conquered by the devotees. Why? Because they are so intimate to me. And so they are free of all conceptions of awe and reverence which may arise due to fear. Right? So we should not be God-fearing, rather we should be God-loving. Krishna has various moods, Aishwarya also and Madhurya also. So we should be in the Madhurya bhav. We should worship Krishna in loving conjugal relationship. Not only conjugal, but in loving relationship. Whether that loving relationship may be because of dasya bhav, or maybe sakhya bhav, or maybe vatsalya bhav. But everything should be in a relationship of loving nature. So here, all these so-called scholars, they were seeing the Lord out of fear, in awe and reverence. That awe and reverence which was arising out of fear. Fear of what? Of losing their own fame, of being defeated by Nimai, of getting unnecessary debate with the Supreme Lord. So that was their mindset. But that should not be the case. Vrindavan Das Thakur writes in the text number 11, Yadi vakahare prabhu karena sambhasa se jana hayayena ati bhadadasa. They should understand that whoever the Lord spoke with would become his staunch follower. Yes, whenever the Lord addressed someone, that person felt particularly honored and he would thus desire to serve the Lord. So they were trying to humbly avoid Nimai, not to have his association. Why? Because they were not on a pure platform. They were not pure devotees. Whereas the pure devotees of the Lord always hanker for such association. We hanker for the association of our spiritual master, even if the spiritual master chastises us. There is a hidden blessing. There is a hidden blessing in the chastisement of the spiritual master. If the spiritual master chastises us, means that the spiritual master is caring for us. If the spiritual master doesn't chastise us, if he doesn't say anything, then we should understand that, okay, what I have done, I am on my own, I am independent. But if somebody chastises us, we know that we are under their shelter. Right? So the spiritual master, when he chastises, it's disguise in a form of a blessing. It's a blessing for us. And that shows us that even the spiritual master understands us and he wants us to become a better devotee. What is the reason of a spiritual master chastising one's disciple? Is there any hidden agenda? The spiritual master wants to take out his anger on the disciple? Thing like that. Wants to just train us so that we can become a good disciple, a good devotee, a better devotee. Right? And for that, that chastisement, that shashan is very important, very, very important. So when that, whenever the Lord addressed someone, that person felt particularly honored. Similarly, when our spiritual master chastises us, we should feel honored. Honored, why? Because my master has picked me up in this entire assembly, picked me up and is chastising me. If he is chastising me in public, he wants me to become humble. He is increasing my humility level. If he is chastising me in person, means not in the congregation or not in front of anybody, then also we should feel honored, because he is trying to make us a good disciple. He's trying to improve us, pointing out our faults so that we can improve, because he has the authority to do so. And when we are being chastised by the spiritual master, naturally we emerge like a brilliant shining diamond now. Why? Because that polish, the so-called coal that is there on diamond, has been rubbed off by the chastisement of that spiritual master. So we become more effulgent, we become more shiny, provided if we take that chastisement in the right perspective. If we take it under the wrong perspective, that why my spiritual master chastised me in front of everybody, and it was such a humiliating condition. No, if we think that way, we are committing an aparadh. Srila Prabhupada also writes, once how he was in the assembly of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Swami Prabhupada when he was giving a class. And there was another gentleman who was sitting with Srila Prabhupada, who was of elderly age, and he wants to try to say something and wants to converse with Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada lended his ears to hear what he wants to say. And immediately Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Swami Srila Prabhupada pointed out and chastised in front of everybody that, what do you think? He chastised that elderly man, that what do you think? Here I am speaking and you are not paying attention. And then he called our Abhay Babu, our AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to come and sit near him so that he can lend his ears only to the spiritual master. That's also kind of an etiquette. When spiritual master is speaking, our ears should be wide open to hear whatever instructions he's giving. Our mind should not be deviated here and there. Okay, what this person is talking or what that person is talking. With open ears, we should hear the instructions of our spiritual master without any deviation, without any distraction. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is writing, whoever the Lord spoke with will become his staunch follower. Why? Because they will be rebuked by Lord, and then when they will not be able to counter challenge the Lord, naturally they will be surrendered to the Lord. Text 12. Prabhura Panditya Buddhi Shishu Kala Haite Sabai Jane na Ganga Tira Bhalamate. Prabhura Panditya Buddhi. Understanding that the Lord is the most intelligent. He is Pandit, right? So his Panditya Buddhi Shishukal. Shishukal se log jante the. From the childhood of Nimai, people know that he is great Pandit. Right? From his childhood. Everybody knows that the Supreme Lord is great Pandit. Yes, our Supreme Lord is the most intelligent. Most intelligent. Right? He is proprietor of all wealth, of all energy. He's most intelligent. He's full of knowledge. He's everything. Right? Beyond all doubts. Beyond all doubts. Text 13. Kona rupe keha prabhu dhite nahi pare iha osa bhara chite jagaya antare. Within their hearts, they knew that the Lord could not be defeated in argument. So they know that the Lord, this Nimai, can never be defeated in argument. They know this. Right? So they were trying to avoid the company of the Supreme Lord. What to talk of the Lord? Even the devotees of the Lord cannot be defeated by any opponents. We all know that how Srila Prabhupada, he had practically answer for every question that was put forward to him by all the journalists when he was in America. So what to talk of devotee? They are what to talk of the Supreme Lord? Here they are saying, right, that within their hearts, all these so-called scholars, within their hearts, they knew that the Lord could not be defeated in any argument. Because from Shishukal, from the childhood, this Lord is very intelligent. He has a panditya buddhi, so he cannot be defeated. So what to talk of the Lord? Even the Lord's devotees cannot be defeated. We know the examples of Chitraketu Maharaj, how he was cursed by Mother Parvati and he was being instructed to become a demon, and so he became Vritrasura. Now when he became Vritrasura, he was challenged by Indra. Indra made a thunderbolt out of the bones of Dadichi Muni, and he wants to kill Vritrasura. And there, when Indra, there is a big description in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Indra, there's a fight between Indra and Vritrasura is telling Indra, hey man, come on, use your thunderbolt. Just use it. Why aren't you using your thunderbolt? So how surrendered Vritrasura was. And he was praying. So apparently we see that, yes, he was defeated ultimately by Indra. Indra used that thunderbolt. And it was destined that through that thunderbolt, Vritrasura will leave his body. But was he actually defeated? No. Because after that, Vritrasura attained his own position, his own sarup. Whereas Indra was infected with Vaishnava Parad, where he has to leave his Indrapuri, his own heavenly planet, and he has to go and do the austerity for 1,000 years. Right? So that was our Vritrasura, and how beautifully he prayed. Beautiful. Mamuttama shloka janeshu sakyam samsara chakra brahmata sarva karmabhi tanmaya yatma jaradarvageshu asakta chittasya nanatha bhuya. There are 4 beautiful prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, which I think so everybody should memorize, especially in this month of Kartik. The essence of everything, where this Vritrasura prays. But in the last prayer that I quoted, he's saying, Mamuttama shloka janeshu sakyam. He's asking the friendship of, he's saying that I've been wandering in this 14 planetary system, but enough. Now I seek friendship, Jana Uttama shloka, the association of your devotees, O Supreme Lord, O Uttama shloka. I want the friendship, the association of your devotees now. So we see that how here Vritrasura is praying for the association of the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. And here, these Bhattacharis, these so-called pundits, these so-called scholars are getting the direct association of the Supreme Lord, and they are ignoring. They are ignoring him. They are not coming close to the Supreme Lord to get his association. Rather, seeing him from a distance, they are making their own way and trying to avoid the Supreme Lord, thinking that we cannot defeat him. Yes, you cannot defeat the Supreme Lord. What to talk about the Supreme Lord? You cannot defeat even his pure devotees. But is that the way? No. The way is to surrender. Surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Prabhu dekhi swabhave janmaya sadhavsa atave prabhu dekhi sabhayavasa. Therefore, they naturally became frightened when they saw the Lord, and they were obliged to accept subordination to him. This is the point. That they were obliged to accept subordination of the Supreme Lord. That means out of fear. But that should not be the case. We should wholeheartedly surrender unto the Supreme Lord. That surrenderance should come. That surrenderance should come wholeheartedly for the Supreme Lord. That subordination, that I am yours, Krishna. I am your and you are mine. That has to be there. That surrenderance, that complete shelter should be there for the Supreme Lord. That I am under your shelter. And that's what Mahaprabhu came to teach us. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori. Jive Daya Kori. Mahaprabhu came to give compassion to all the jivas. Sikhai Sharanagati. And he, from his own achar, from his own thing, he explained that how we should be Sharanagat. We should take Sharanagati. Right? We should take Sharanagati. And that subordination, that surrenderance should not be out of some fear. Like here, out because they were frightened. So they were obliged to be subordinate to Krishna. Right? They were obliged to subordinate to Krishna. But that should not be the case. Right? Dainya Atma Nivedana Goprete Varana Avashe Rakshive Krishna Vishwasa Palana Bhakti Anukula Matra Karyera Svikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Vrajanigakara. So these are the 6 symptoms, 6 limbs of Sharanagati that Mahaprabhu himself came to teach us through his Parshad. Right? He came. And there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Shadanga Sharanagati hoi bejar Tahara Prarthana Shune Shinanda Kumara. Wherever there is wholehearted surrenderance to the Supreme Lord, then that Nanda Kumar, that Yashoda Nandan Krishna, that Radhika Raman Krishna will hear our prayers. But provided that subordinance, that surrenderance should be wholeheartedly, should not be under any kind of clause of fear or, losing something, or it has to be with love. That surrenderance has to be with love. Right? Not like here they are saying that they were obliged to accept subordination. No. Dainya Atma Nivedana, that Atma Nivedana, that surrenderance should come wholeheartedly. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, very beautiful, right? Atma Nivedana tuva pade kori hoi no parama sukhi dukha dura gelo chintana rohilo chaudhu ke anand dekhi. That surrenderance should be with happy face. Happily one has to surrender. He says that I have become supreme joyful of surrendering myself to your lotus feet, O Supreme Lord. My all unhappiness, that all dukkha Dura gelo, that dukkha has gone, chintana rohilo, and have no chinta, I have no anxiety anymore. Chadino bhavana bhoya, I see joy in all these directions. All 14 planetary systems, I just see joy. Why? Because I have surrendered myself to you. So that surrenderance should be through love. That surrenderance should be wholeheartedly, right? And when that surrenderance is wholeheartedly, then what happens? Let's see next. Tathapi ha hena tana mayara badai bhuji bare paratane hena jana nai. Nevertheless, the influence of the illusory energy is such that no one was able to recognize him. So they were frightened. They were obliged to accept subordination. Why? Because they were covered under the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, they were not able to recognize the Supreme Lord. But when that Atmanivedana, when that surrenderance is wholeheartedly with love, with joy in our heart, then this curtain of illusory energy goes away. And the Lord comes face to face in front of his pure devotee. Till the time that surrenderance is under obligation, that I have to surrender. Till the time that word have is there, the curtain of Maya will always be there. But now when the word have is replaced with the word want, I want to surrender. Wholeheartedly, I want to surrender to my Supreme Lord with love. Then that curtain of illusory energy just goes away. Why? Because this Maya Devi is known as illusory energy. Now, first thing we have to understand, why is she called illusory energy? Is she illusory? No, she is fact. She is real. She is factual, right? She is real. She is energy of the Supreme Lord. How come anything that belongs to Krishna can be illusion? Nothing. Anything that belongs to Krishna is real, is factual. It cannot be illusion. It cannot be an illusory energy. But then why it is known as illusory energy? Because it puts jivas into illusion of forgetting Krishna. That's why this Maya Devi is also known as illusory energy. She puts jiva into illusion. Krishna puts jivas into illusion through his eternal potency, through his Maya Shakti. So that the jivas, those jivas who don't want to surrender unto Supreme Lord, may keep on thinking that I am the proprietor, I am the controller, I am the master. That's what the demons think. The demons, they don't want to surrender unto Krishna. So they are always under the illusory energy of Krishna, thinking themselves that yes, they are the proprietors, they are the controllers. And so Krishna is benefiting them also. Okay, you don't want to surrender unto me, I don't want to create any problem. I don't want you forcefully to love me, to surrender unto me. You be under the direction of my illusory energy, and you will be always under the illusion that you are the supreme. Oh Jiva, you will always be under the illusion that you are supreme. You will not be able to understand my supremacy. What to talk about my sweetness? Forget about my sweetness, which can only be disclosed to the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. Even my greatness, my supremacy will also not be revealed to you. Why? Because you don't want to surrender. Right? So Krishna is actually bestowing his Suhrit Satan. He's dear to everyone, right? Krishna is dear to everyone. He's impartial. He's not partial. He is, for him, everybody is equal, whether a person who surrenders to him or a person who doesn't surrender to him. For him, Krishna is equal because Krishna is there in the heart of every living entity. So if the demons doesn't want to surrender, Krishna is facilitating those demons in their thing. Krishna says, I am the one who is providing you forgetfulness and remembrance. If you want to remember me, my all benedictions are you. You'll always be able to remember me. But if you don't want to remember me, then I'll give you all kind of forgetfulness so that you forget me. This is what Krishna is. And this is through the job of Krishna's energy, that is Maya Devi. Because Krishna says, in 7:14, Krishna says, Daivi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya. This energy is my Maya. It is divine. Don't think that it is an ordinary Shakti and you can win over that Maya. No, you cannot. It is insurmountable. You cannot cross that Maya. Devi Esha Gunamai. It is Mama Maya. It is my Maya. And it is Durattaya. It is very, very impossible to cross through. But Mameva hi prapadyanti. Those who surrender unto me, Maya metam tarantite. They'll cross over. Why? Because then the same Maya will help the devotee to cross over and reach Krishna. Because this curtain is put also by Maya and it is removed also by Maya. So Maya says that yes, if you want to surrender, then I'll remove the curtain. If you think that you have to surrender, that means your bhakti is not pure. It is still tinged with something. Some external factor is there. So I'll just keep the curtain till that have is replaced with want. Right? So that's the job of Maya. That's the job of Maya. So Krishna says that I don't reveal myself to everybody. No, I don't reveal myself to everybody. But you have to, nevertheless, the influence of an illusory energy is such that no one is able to recognize him. Nobody. Krishna is present. But because of the influence of illusion energy, they were not able to understand that he is Supreme Lord. Teho yadi na kare na apana vidita tabe taha ke na nahi jana kadachita. Kadachit. Kadachit means possibly. No one can possibly recognize the Lord. Tabe tane ke na nahi jana kadachit. Kadachit means possibly. It's not possible for anyone to recognize the Supreme Lord unless and until Lord reveals himself. So, Lord reveals himself to his devotees and only then the devotees know him. Otherwise, it's impossible to know the Supreme Lord. And how the Lord reveals? Lord reveals through the agency of his Shaktis, through his representative, through the spiritual master. When we sing Shri Guru Charana Padma, we also sing, right? What is that verse in Shri Guru Padma when we sing? Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. Right? So that Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, it has to be revealed in the heart of the devotees. Right? Otherwise, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Khoriya Akya. Through the Mukha of Guru, through the Vakya that has emanated from the mouth of the spiritual master, through that Vakya, the Supreme Lord is revealed. It cannot be revealed on its own. Only when the Supreme Lord wants to benedict someone, that devotee will be benedicted, and all the pastimes, the leelas, they all will be revealed to the pure devotee by the Supreme Lord. But unless and until we don't surrender, that curtain of Maya is always there, and she always hides her master. She doesn't want her master to be revealed. Right? So no one can possibly recognize the Lord unless and until the Lord himself reveals himself. Right? So Krishna, if he wants himself to be revealed, then only that is possible. Otherwise, Krishna says, that no, I cannot be revealed. Krishna says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita mudho yam abhijananti loko mam ajam avayayam. I'm never manifest to the foolish, to the mudas, or neither to the less intelligent people. For I am always covered by my internal potency. And therefore, they do not know that who am I. I'm infallible, I'm unborn. They don't understand because I'm always covered. Now, this is one type of forgetfulness where the conditioned living entity gets covered under the illusory energy of Krishna and the Lord doesn't reveal himself. So this is a kind of forgetfulness that happens to the jivas. Now in Vrindavan also, the gopis, the Vrajvasis, they were also forgetfulness of the supremacy of Krishna. If somebody goes and tell Mother Yashoda that yours Lala, this baby, your Kanha is the supreme Lord. He's, Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. He's the supreme Lord. Mother Yashoda won't believe. She is also put under the influence of Yoga Maya, of forgetfulness. But this forgetfulness is transcendental forgetfulness. She is covered under Krishna's Yoga Maya, whereas we jivas are covered under Krishna's Mahamaya. There is a difference. We jivas forget Krishna because we don't want to surrender to Krishna. Our love is only this much, and our lust is this much. We want to control. We want to control. We want to be the proprietor. Love is only this much for Krishna, or maybe negligible amount. So we are always covered under Yoga, Mahamaya, where Krishna doesn't reveal himself to us. Whereas Vrajavasis, their love is in abundance, and only for Krishna. Vyavasatmika buddhir eko hi kuru nandana. With one pointed attention, their love is only and only for Krishna. Krishna is in the center of Raja and everybody is surrounding them. So Krishna is in the center. Their love is in abundance. So there also the forgetfulness is there. But that forgetfulness is by Yoga Maya Shakti, because Krishna doesn't want himself to be revealed as a supreme Lord. Why? Because then the reciprocation of love will be disturbed. If the Gopas know that he is the supreme Lord, then any would be dare to sit on the shoulders of Krishna and say that, Krishna, you are the loser now take me on your back. Nobody will be dare to step on Krishna's shoulder. So Krishna would not be able to enjoy the intimate pastimes with his intimate friends, with his intimate servants. He'll not be able to enjoy. So to increase that ras, to increase that pastime so that Krishna can enjoy, the Vrajvasis are also put under illusion. But this is by Yoga Maya Shakti. They are also put under forgetfulness of understanding the supremacy of the Lord, so that the pastimes can be enhanced. Whereas in conditioned living entity case, we are already so much conditioned that we don't want to love Krishna. We don't want to understand that Krishna is supreme. We think that everything is happened because of me. I am the doer. Kartaham iti manyate. That's how our thought process is. That whatever I do is, whatever is happening is, I am the doer. Whatever good is happening, I am the doer. So Krishna says, okay, so be it. Keep on thinking. Keep on thinking till the time the reversals come in your life and then you are forced to surrender. So rather than forced to surrender, why not wholeheartedly surrender before the reversals come? So no one can possibly recognize the Lord unless and until he reveals himself. In Vrajdham also, in Vrindavan Dham also, Krishna doesn't want all the Vrajvasis to be revealed, that he is God. We read in, that Govardhan Leela. After that, when all the Vrajvasis were saved, we know that how Indra comes. And all the other demigods also come. They shower flowers, they do arati, Indra do the Abhishek, and gave him the name Govinda. And we know that there is a big, beautiful Govind Kund in Parikrama Marg in Vrindavan Dham. So the boys saw all this. The cowherd boys saw all this. And they were thinking, wow, our friend is so great. Yet now everybody is offering worship. But they were still not able to understand why they were worshipping Krishna. Not because of his supremacy. They were thinking because Krishna saved all of us. Our friend. The feeling was that our friend, my son, my child, my friend, that's the feeling they have. All the Vrajvasis. He is not God, because God can be shared by many. No, he is not the person whom we can share. He is particularly mine. Yashoda Maya says, Krishna is mine. He's my child. If I don't feed, he will starve. He will starve if I don't feed my Krishna. And that should be the mood of a devotee. The devotee should also think that if I don't feed my deities will starve. If I don't dress them, they will be untidy. They'll be unclean. They cannot dress themselves. I have to dress them. If I don't do it, they'll be untidy. If I don't feed, they will starve. If I don't put them to sleep, they will be awake whole night. Right? But here I is not in the mood of controller. Here I is in the mood of servitude, service. That Krishna is mine. I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. So whatever I do it for Krishna. So when that exchange is there, then the Lord will reveal himself. Otherwise, he is always behind the curtain. It is said that when we go to Vrindavan Dham also, we should not see Vrindavan Dham through our eyes. We should see Vrindavan Dham through our ears. Because Vrindavan Dham is also covered. It is a very, very thin layer that Yoga Maya is covering Vrindavan Dham. So to the people, the conditioned living entities who are just going Dham to enjoy, for them, Dham doesn't reveal its potency. For what they will see is, they will see the big, big buildings in Vrindavan Dham. They will see the pigs. They will see the monkeys. They will see the dirt. They will see the pigs rolling in the puddle. All these things will be seen. But those who want to hear Shri Vrindavan Dham, those who want to see Vrindavan Dham through their ears, they will see the loving pastimes happen in Vrindavan. Oh wow, this is the place where Indra performed Abhishek, and so there is Govind Kund. Oh, this is Shri Radha Kund. This is Shyama Kund. Right? They will see the Dham itself will reveal its potency to the pure devotees. So for that subtle covering has to be removed. And that can only be removed when we enter Shri Vrindavan Dham with utmost dainyata, with utmost humility, with submissiveness. Enter Shri Vrindavan Dham and understand, and hear and see Vrindavan Dham through our ears, through the superiors, through our spiritual superiors. When we hear that the glories of Vrindavan Dham, and then when we see that Dham through our ears, then Dham reveals itself to us. Until that time, it's always covered. Text 17. Teno punha nitya suprasanna sarvarite tahana mayaya punha sabha vimuhite. The Lord is eternally merciful to the living entities in every respect. In every respect, he is merciful. If he is stopping the demons and he is not revealing his supremacy to the demons, he is being merciful to them. If he is chastising the demons, killing the demons, he is being merciful to them. because he is liberating them. Yet, due to the influence of his illusory energy, everyone remained ignorant of his identity. So, vimohite, because Krishna vimoh lete hain, through his, he makes them ignorant. Like we see the pastime of Brahma Vimohan Leela. There Brahma was under the illusory energy of Krishna. And therefore he could not understand that how could this boy who is eating jutha from all his friends can be my supreme master? No, he cannot be. So the entire pastime happened where he hid all the cows and the calves because he wanted to see that supreme Lord, that whether he is truly my supreme Lord, so that doubt, that suspicion was there. And that is what is vimohan. He got vimohit by seeing how my Lord can eat jutha from all the boys standing there. Right? So this is vimohan lila, Brahma vimohan lila. So here also, all the living entities, they were ignorant of his identity, the identity of Nimai. That our Nimai is who? Is Sakshat Krishna. In the last chapter also we saw that Vrindavan Das Thakur was trying to compare the Supreme Lord either by moon, but he said, no, the moon has spots, my Lord is spotless. The moon waxes and wanes, but my Lord is eternal. So I cannot compare him as a moon. I cannot compare him as a Brahaspati. I cannot compare him as Cupid. I cannot compare him as anything, but what I can compare is Sakshad Hari. He is Krishna himself. And this revelation was hidden by Nimai because the audience, the people who were there, were not ready for this revelation, were not ready to accept this revelation. So till the time we are not ready, if we are still in the kindergarten, and if somebody tells us about the calculus, will we be able to understand? We are still struggling to do 2 + 2, 4. We are still struggling to do 2 + 2, 4. So how can we understand the intricacies of the calculus? We cannot, right? So there, the Navadvip Vasis who were there, at that time, those so-called scholars, they were not in the position to be revealed that Nimai is the Supreme Lord. They were still in the kindergarten. So the Lord cannot teach them calculus. So everybody remained ignorant of Nimai's identity. What identity? That Nimai is Sakshat Krishna. He namate sabare mohiya gaura chandra vidya rase navadvipe kare prabhu ranga. Last verse for today. Vidya rase, his scholastic pastimes. So in this way, Hena Mate, in this way, Sabara Mohiya Gaura Chandra, everybody was bewildered by Gaura Chandra, by his illusory potency, his energy only. Everybody was bewildered. And this way, Mahaprabhu was enjoying his Vidya Ras, his scholastic pastimes in Navadvipa. But how long you can hit the sun? If the sun is arisen, then darkness has to be dispelled. Has to be dispelled. No, if sun is there, darkness cannot be there. How long the darkness can prevail? Till the time the sun has not arisen. The moment the first ray of sun comes, the darkness dispels. So till now, Gaura Chandra was hiding himself. But now we'll see from tomorrow onwards that how there was a big Digvijay Pandit who came in Navadvip and had a debate with Nimai, and how Nimai arose like a brilliant sun and dispelled the darkness, the ignorance of all the Navadvipasis, and how he defeated that Digvijay Pandit. So that we'll see tomorrow. So we'll stop here. Thank you all so much for being there with me. I know I wasn't well prepared for the session, but whatever Krishna inspired, whatever Mahaprabhu inspired, I just spoke through my heart. So please forgive me for any offenses or anything mistakenly I've said anything, which I know I've committed a lot of mistakes. But you Saragrahi Vaishnavas, just take the essence and please ignore all my faults. And please bestow so that whatever I spoke, I may be able to walk on that path forever in my life. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripasindhuvaivacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Caitanya Bhagavata ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Mataji, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you so much for a very, very beautiful nectarian, beautiful class. You explained all the verses so beautifully. As you said, that one should love the Lord without being fearful. And fearful of, but instead of love, not being scared of the Lord. You gave very beautiful examples. You also explained when one is chastised by Guru, it's out of love and care to improve and make that person a better devotee. And one should not take that to heart. They should be happy that someone cares for us, loves us. So they're saying something. Otherwise, Guru Maharaj can just stay quiet. You also mentioned how we should surrender happily and wholeheartedly with a very happy face. And the difference between wanting to surrender and having to surrender. You want to surrender with love. You have to surrender of fear. So we have to get rid of that fear. Very, very beautiful nectarian class. Thank you so, so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We open the forum for questions and realizations. If you have any questions related to today's class only, please don't ask any personal questions as these classes are recorded. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivani Mataji. Thank you for summarizing all the points. I didn't know what I speak today, but since you summarized, I could also reflect on what I spoke today. So thank you for your rapt attention, for your sincerity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Maharaj. This is such a beautiful class. It is one of the best heartfelt realizations, spontaneous classes I've ever heard. Very, very sweet, especially about the mood of surrendering to Krishna that you spoke so beautifully, and definitely about paying obeisances out of respect naturally and paying obeisances out of fear and force. That was so nicely, elaborately spoken by you. It felt like it just came out of your heart. And of course, about the role of the spiritual master chastising us and correcting us means that he does protection for us. Such a beautiful class, Mataji. It was just pouring out like the waves of the ocean. It came out so beautifully, naturally. Love the class, Mataji. And as you were just wrapping up the class, as you were speaking the last two sentences of your class, I got my Guru Maharaj's quote for today, and it says, if in the midst of our sufferings and misery, we bow down to Krishna in an attitude of gratefulness. So that is the focus. In an attitude of gratefulness, that is the perfection of our lives. So when we bow down to Krishna, it is out of, naturally we want to bow down to him out of gratefulness. I was just contemplating on the same fact that you mentioned throughout the class, and it just came as a message. So thank you so much for giving us this little meditation for today. Such a lovely class it was. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for listening, Mataji. Thank you for that quote, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Yes, Parima Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You're a born speaker, I should say. You speak so wonderful that words just flow out from your mouth, and it's like you have been preparing for it since ever. It was wonderful. But Mataji, I have this one thing, just I don't know if I can call it a realization or an input, but there are some people who don't have that much faith, but they still know that they should do this. They do it with their resolve and they hold on to it, but their faith may not be 100%. Where do such people stand, and where do they would likely end up? They are holding on, faith or no faith, but they still hold on. Because initially many people who come to Krishna consciousness, they, like when I came, I was not like so serious, but I held on. Okay, no, but it is very nice. I don't know what, but I'll still hold on. You know.
Yes, Mataji. As you said, that those who don't have faith, but still when they hold on to that position, how to understand that? Shraddha Shabde Vishwase Kahi Sudrad Nishchaya. That faith is very, very important. If, like you said, those who don't have faith, they don't have faith, but still they hold on to the process. See the internal meaning. You go yourself deep into your own heart, as you gave your example, that you didn't have any faith, but still you hold on to that process. Now, why are you holding on to that process? Still that subtle faith is there. Adho Shraddha, it begins with Shraddha, it begins with faith. Until and unless that faith is not there, we will not walk a step. We will not walk a step. So even if we go into our own selves, why we were holding on to that process? Because that little, maybe not 100%, but that little faith we have, either we are holding on to the process, maybe because of the books. So we have little faith in those instructions that are there in Prabhupada books. Or we are holding on to the process maybe because of some devotee who is really, every day keeping an eye on us and telling us and inspiring us and enthusing us to come to temple every Sunday. So that faith is there either in that devotee. Or when we go to the temple, we don't read Prabhupada, we didn't have any interaction with Prabhupada books, we don't have interaction with any of the devotee. We just happened to visit some website and we went to the temple and we liked something and we started going every Sunday. But what is that liking? That little faith is there. That little faith is there. And if we keep on just holding on to that subtle amount of faith, there will be no progression in life. There will be no progression. You must have noticed there are so many people who come on Janmashtami days, who come visits Sunday temple now and then, not very often. They come, they bow down, they give some donation, put some money in the hundi, write some check, maybe take some books also. But we have been, at least I have noticed, there are so many devotees who every Janmashtami I see those familiar faces. I normally call them as Janmashtami faces because every Janmashtami I'll see them. Or maybe just few Sundays here and there, but not often. So what is that? Yes, their faith is there. Subtle amount of faith is there. But they are still clinging on to that subtle amount. The faith is not increasing. It is not increasing to the level of Shraddha. So when it is not increasing onto the level of Shraddha, they'll be just floating. They'll not go deep into the ocean to derive some hidden treasure. They'll be simply floating on the surface. So they will not progress. So as you said, that what will be the destination? They will not progress. That faith has to increase day by day in books, in sadhus, in shastras, in devotees. It has to increase. And when that faith increase to the level of Shraddha, Shraddha Shabde Vishwase Kahi Sudra Nishchaya. When that Shraddha comes to the level when one is engaged in Krishna consciousness with full determination, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Kama Kritahaya. Immediately Krishna Bhakti will come and all the calm, all the material desires that is there in the heart will be uprooted. It will be uprooted. It will not be trimmed so that it can come again. It will directly uprooted. Right from the roots, those desires will be uprooted. but that faith has to be increased. And that can only be increased when we are in the association of devotees. If we are not in the association of devotees, that faith will not increase, and we'll be keep on floating only on the surface, life after life, birth after birth. That will be our situation. Hope that helps, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, that is very true. But there, there are so many people, I will not say all of them, those who come with little faith, but they do increase their devotee association, and they do try to, get, and there are many people who even get initiated and are completely into Krishna consciousness. And there are some who leave. Yeah, that is, you are right, Mataji.
Yeah.
But the faith has to increase, basically. You should hold on, but then, yeah, that's true, Mataji.
That faith has to be increased. If they are taking initiation, that means at least some progression is there. Maybe not able to follow complete vows of initiation, but at least they have taken a step forward. So all pranams to them, all pranams to them. We should, Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion that even if those who are taking the first Harinam Diksha, we should pay obeisances to them. At least they have understood this human form of life and holding on to the process. Maybe not completely yet, maybe not even after initiation, not completely. But still they are holding on to the process. They will grow. It's just a matter of time. They will grow, and they have to grow. There is nothing called cruising along in Krishna consciousness. Either it is upstream or it is downstream. It's a peak. It's a peak. There is no flat surface where you can cruise along. If you think you are cruising along, we have to introspect, because it might be a downfall. Not 100%, but slowly we are in a process.
You will slide down. Yes, that's true. That is true. I've seen such devotees also, Mataji, during my so many years of association. I've seen many who, yeah, that's true, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
They are sliding down. Still our danvats to them. Why?
Yeah,
because you never know at which position Krishna will bring his hand.
Exactly. I know. That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Them at any. So even if they are sliding down, we should not think, oh, that devotee has fallen down. We never know whether he has really fallen down, or at
some point of time, yes, they might come up again.
Yeah, they might come up again. Krishna can do anything. Right?
Yeah.
So we should not be in a position where we just see dosha darshana in everybody. Rather, that dosha darshana should be from inside, like what in me am I, that all introspection should be for me. Am I sliding down? Is there Krishna folding me, or I am going upstream? So that all we have to dive in our own self and see.
Right. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful answer and wonderful class again. Danvat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, HG Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Koti Koti Danvat Pranam. Deep devotional assessment. When we hear Krishna Katha, and cooking prasadam, morning time and evening time, the all positive energy goes to our family member, and Mataji, they become sincere Vaishnava. So Koti Koti Danvat Pranam to all Bhakti Sangha teachers, and Shridham Vrindavan Dham, how we have to see Shridham Vrindavan Dham, the glories of Shridham Vrindavan Dham, Shri Sham Kund, Shri Radha Kund. You explain so nicely that those who are not able to see the Dham potency, they just see the concrete and the ye ganda hai, wo ganda hai, but they don't see the potency of the Dham. Koti Koti Danvat Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna. And whatever the spiritual master instruction or somebody chastise us from front of all Vaishnava, we don't know what situation they are passing. We should take it positively, and we should serve our service das anu das pav. Mataji, Koti Koti Danvat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Thank you for your inputs.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga. Mataji, such a sweet class. So many lessons here. How to see the Vrindavan when we go to Vrindavan, what we have to do, and how is the surrender mood we should have to the Supreme and to the spiritual master. Always follow his instructions. So by that way, Krishna will please and Supreme spiritual master also pleased to us. So how we do to service to them, you just explained very nicely, Mataji. I'm so grateful to you, Mataji. It's very nice. You spoke everything good, and about you gave the example of kitten and cat. So sometimes I am thinking, when I do the Damodashtakam, I see the Yashoda Maiya, she just bind the Krishna with a rope. At that time, I always tell Krishna, give me that kind of bhakti like a Yashoda Maiya. But you bind me like that, your love. So I can come to you and I can. So Mataji, I do that. Is it okay or not? I don't know.
Yes, Mataji, definitely. Definitely. Bilva Mangal Thakur prays, right? That yes, I am blind. Oh Krishna, you have come and offered me a pot of milk. And as soon as I tasted that pot of milk, I could understand that this is divine. So I know, Krishna, you are here. But immediately you left my hand and you ran away. Oh Krishna, what is greatness for you? How someone will say that you are great? You are leaving the hand of an old blind man and you are running away. What do you expect? That the old blind man run behind you? Cannot run behind you. So there is no greatness of you leaving my hand, leaving the hand of an old blind man. The greatness of you will be shown if you leave the heart of that old blind man. So I have captured you in my heart, Krishna. Now you leave from my heart and show your greatness.
Then show you. Yeah.
Because I have eternally imprisoned you in the prison house of my heart. So you cannot. But if you say that you are great because you have left my hand, because hand
is so sweet, Mataji.
And just show your greatness.
Yeah.
So
I always like the picture, whatever I was watching in my childhood, the Surdas, he just blind, but Krishna always come to here and he sit down like that. So at my home, it was that picture. So I always looking at that and I meditate all the time to that Krishna.
Yes, very nice, Mother. Very nice. Very nice meditation. Thank you. Thank you for all.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm so grateful. Very nice and sweet class. Always I eager to hear.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Once again, I would like to thank our Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you for your wonderful association today, Mataji, and very nectarian class. Even though you're not well, I hope and pray that you get well soon.
No, I'm perfectly fine, Mataji. It's just a little bit cough and cold, but otherwise I'm perfectly fine. In my spirits, I'm okay.
Great. I'm very happy to hear that. Hari Bol. Dear devotees, if there are no more questions or realizations this time, with the permission of our Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji and all the assembled devotees, I would like to close the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo namo namah. Anant Vaishnavind ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Shri Caitanya Bhagavata class ki jai. Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji, for beautiful class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.